Hi, I'm Dr. Ho, the founder and director of the CSUN Autonomy Research Center for STEAM or Arts. Over 600 CSUN students have participated in arts projects since we launched in 2019. We invited 3 of them back to share their very special journeys in a game show format. Let's take a listen. The first member is Seyed Sajjadi. I think one time we were on an airplane, he told me he started programming when he was 7 and he already did AI when he was 14 years old. But Seyed was a student in my research lab for 2.5 years and 3 years. Yeah, I'm getting old. But you know, it was such a great pleasure, an immense gratification to see how Seyed grew through the process and ended up leading and managing a team of 90 plus students from science, engineering, anthropology, human factors, psychology. And I was so proud of his work. That work was about building a search and rescue system for firefighters using AI. And the approach that we do research, you can see, is really bring together multiple disciplines. And I really appreciate Seyed for doing that. He's not only working with his student, but when he won a number of really startup awards and founded his AI company, Influx, some of the initial core members of his team was the people from psychology and human factors. You know, so I was thinking, you know what? Yeah, you know, somebody's drinking the Kool-Aid and believing it and actually doing it in his startup that's raised more than $10+ million now and have product across several continents, right? I really appreciated what Seyed has done. So a very proud member of our team, of our family. The next member of our family is Keiana Samoy, who was, I mentioned, the first student from the business analytics program at CSUN, who got an internship and then a full-time job at JPL. And for those of you who know Keiana, she's a lot more than just a business analytics person. She can program, she can do graphic design. She's really amazing in bringing people together. When she first started her job at JPL, she single-handedly brought it felt like the entire autonomous system engineering division from JPL to visit ours and have a conversation about research collaboration. So that was just, you know, phenomenal. And our mission is really to transform the lives of the underserved, underrepresented students. So I really appreciate Keiana for being such a role model. And a lot of you ask me, where does red bow tie come from? She made it for me. And I keep on wearing it. It's, you know, every year I wear it. And the last member of our family is Melissa Chow. So the Arts Convergent Research Program that we do here is really a adaptation of the MIT undergraduate research opportunity program research model, which means that you can be a freshman, sophomore, or anywhere to your graduate school, you can engage in research right away. I was so proud that Melissa joined our research team first as an arts associate, which is a volunteer, and then she became the mechanical team lead for a project that built drones with pilots for NASA Armstrong. And she recently was awarded the fellowship to the NASA internship program, the fishing rod that I was talking about. And I'm really so proud of her and really looking forward to what she's going to be doing next. So now we're going to have a little kind of like a challenge game with these 3 members of our family. And the name of the game is, I'll ask them a question and they have 90 seconds to answer. If they go past 90 seconds, they're going to hear this bell. There you go. And even worse, we actually have a clock here that said 90 seconds. So yeah, let's start with the first question. So Seyed, can you talk about your SIR experience before we go into ours and how that experience prepared you for your career? 90 seconds.
Yes, I think the first piece at SIR was the broad experience that I received. For those who have worked with Dr. Ho, I think, I've never asked you this, but I think you operate under the extreme ownership book principle. It's from Navy SEAL. I should have asked you before coming on stage, but he effectively provided a extreme ownership to me as a student, and that gave me a really broad set of experiences, from recruiting students to interviewing them to designing the architecture to getting the interior of a Ford van out so you could turn that into a ground control station for drones. I was your guy, and that sort of broad experience helped me a lot. The second one was the people that I was working with, amazing students, smart and hardworking students, and as you mentioned, we later on went and co-founded Influx in 2019, and lastly, the knowledge that I was gaining from government and Air Force and NASA. You provided me with the opportunity to be a co-investigator, write reports, something that I had never done, and especially for an undergrad student, that's mind-blowing. So having that experience helped me tremendously.
Thank you, Seyed. And some of you may know he got admitted into several top-notch graduate school, but dropped out to do the AI company. Keiana, 90 seconds. How has your arts experience prepared you for your professional career? Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So when I was a fellow at ARCS, one of the projects that I worked on is actually the steam bubble. It's over there in the corner. I'm going to say, shameless plug, go ahead and put your new ideas on the whiteboard. But something that I did when I was an undergrad was that I was the student lead for the project, and so I joined around phase one. So I got to actually sit in a lot of the meetings with the architects, and I learned so much about space utilization, safety concerns, lab scheduling, all of that great stuff. And it's actually what I do almost on a day-to-day basis at JPL. So a lot of projects require space, so I get the lovely opportunity to play chess and checkers with them and try to fit everyone in. That's what I love. And so as a business analyst, I do a lot of like budgets and reports and stuff. So when I was a student, I got to work alongside our CFO to create an operations budget. So having that experience really paid off.
Melissa, how has your arts experience prepared you for your career?
So ARCS actually came at an extremely convenient time for me. I was just coming back full-time to CSUN after an extended break from my undergrad degree, about 4 or 5 years. Yes, I know, that is a long time. So coming out of COVID, I was working full-time and only taking 1 or 2 classes at the time, and almost all of them, everything was online. And because of that, you don't really get the chance to engage with either your peers or your professors as much as you would if you were in person or if there wasn't a pandemic, really. So ARCS really gave me the chance to build that network so I could connect with my peers and my professors. But aside from that, it also gave me the chance to network with industry professionals that I never would have met otherwise. So it really helped me practice building those connections and making sure that I was able to articulately express all of the things that I do, everything that I'm passionate about, with like-minded individuals and not so like-minded individuals. And that's something that I think not that many people really consider when they're trying to build their network. You usually go towards people that you work with, but maybe you get new ideas from people you don't normally work with, you know? So.
Thank you, thank you. Our next question. I think all of you have worked or are working at NASA JPL, right? So can you talk about what's most exciting, fun, or really meaningful moment for you at NASA JPL? Start with Seyed.
Well, I think the first thing is, it takes a really big heart to work on something knowing that 10 years from now it can potentially explode. Not saying that it will, but it does take a big heart, and that's a really humbling experience, being part of something so larger than you. So that was one thing. I was fortunate enough to be part of Mitch's team on Europa Clipper that's going to launch next year. And that was really a humbling experience. So one is the mission itself, that solar system out there, and the whole pale blue dot that you keep thinking about. There are constant reminders about that a lot of the crazy stuff that we're doing here is, crazy, and there's this world out there and we can explore. So that's one part of it. And then the other part is people. So many smart, hardworking overachievers out there, and that was very humbling experience for me. So working with all the people that knew more than me, were smarter than me, that was an amazing experience for me at JPL.
Thank you.
Awesome. So my favorite thing about working at JPL, like the most fulfilling thing for me, is all of the education and outreach opportunities. So today for this year alone, I completed my 17th outreach visit. So that's quite a lot, and I absolutely love it. And it's something that is so exciting for me because regardless of your age, when people come into JPL and they, see a rover in the Mars yard, they're like, oh my gosh, this is real, this is amazing. And it's that childlike wonder that gets me so excited and keeps me, in the honeymoon phase, if you will, of the job. Something else that I really love is being surrounded by engineers. One of the projects, I needed a VCR player, and I was not born in the age where people use VCRs, okay? And luckily, there were some engineers on my floor who heard me, slightly cursing about this VCR not working, or VHS, whatever you guys call it. And I'm aging myself, sorry. And he walked in, he was like, I haven't seen one of these bad boys in forever. And, he just popped it open and just fixed it in 5 minutes. And it was like, that's the best part of working at JPL. So, yeah.
Thank you. Melissa?
So I'm still an intern, so my time at JPL hasn't been as long as some of the others, but this is a story from last year. I actually went on another ARCS JPL tour, one of Keiana's many outreach activities. And one of the things that really stuck with me was we were on the tour, actually, let me back up a little bit. For those of you who don't necessarily know, the JPL campus facility has little pockets of history everywhere around the facility. Little museums, little micro displays, things like that. And the person who was escorting us, he actually pulled me aside because he saw that I was so starstruck. And he pointed out an image to me that was one of the first colorized images from Mars. And it was printed out of little sheets of paper, and each sheet of paper had a number attached to it that had a brightness level. And he was telling me this story about how the telecom engineers at the time were coloring in that map using markers, crayons, whatever they could get. And just the idea of knowing how far that information had to travel was so inspiring to me, especially that he took the time to tell me the story. And I also thought it was kind of funny that you learn how to color in the lines when you're 5, and at least for them, it's still an applicable skill set.
Many people have said AI could be like a tool, and the tool that we make is a true reflection of us. So if you were to make an AI tool, what would it do?
Short answer would be Jarvis, for those who love Marvel, and while avoiding Skynet, as you pointed out. And that's what I have on my LinkedIn, building Jarvis while avoiding Skynet. But then that was a question that I asked myself in 2019, and I thought, what would be cool to work on? And computer vision seemed very interesting. If you could make computers see and understand the world around them the same way that we understand the world, I think the impact would be very helpful. So we started building this computer vision system that can assist astronauts as they perform different procedures in space, assembly, installation, repair, and we started applying that to other sectors here. So imagine you're assembling an IKEA furniture, the AI sees what you're doing, understands it in real time, and says, oh, make sure that whatever you're assembling doesn't break when you're sitting on it. So step-by-step guidance. I think there's tremendous value there in computer vision, but of course with all the excitement that is happening with ChatGPT. Language is also very interesting, and I think all of us are now excited because a computer understands us, and that we put something there and the answer is not necessarily predictable. So language is super exciting, and the overlap, now that you can ask a lot of things and you know, trigger imagination of the AI, so to speak. So vision for me has been number one area of excitement within AI.
You got a cowbell, negative point. Something that I would love to see, when I get a lot of emails, it's really overwhelming. I would love to see a tool that would go ahead, read the email, respond within 30 seconds, and also not reply all to the entire institution, and also provide like an action item report at the end of the day. I think that would be so helpful because, and I would also be more productive.
And order lunch, right?
That's true.
Honestly, if I were to make any AI tool, it would be something to help me with recipes. If anybody knows me, they know that I love cooking and I love baking, so I'd probably make something that I would use every day because I'm very serious about my chocolate chip cookie recipe. And I want something to be able to help me kind of troubleshoot that. But for a more engineering answer, I would probably choose something that would be able to natively connect with CAD models or simulation software like ANSYS, because I feel like, especially as an incoming grad student, a lot of these concepts, when they're new to you, are not always entirely intuitive. There's something that you have to learn about, think about, and having additional learning tools would be really helpful with making sure that students or even professionals who aren't used to using those are able to get up to speed, able to feel very comfortable with the materials or with their work tools, and really something that can help them kind of learn. Like a learning tool would be the best, I think.
Thank you. Okay, in 30 seconds, what do you say to someone who's afraid of AI? 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Well, first, I don't think we should ignore fear. I think fear can be a useful emotion. If used properly, we shouldn't be paralyzed by fear. But I think having that fear and sort of not letting it guide us, but letting it serve as guide rails would be helpful. And for people who are afraid, I would recommend opening up YouTube and putting in CS239 or CS231. These are courses, open machine learning courses by Andrew Ng, and learning more about AI would be very helpful.
Thanks.
Second cowbell. I would say just to embrace it. I mean, it's a new technology, and like other technologies, you know, everyone is fearful at first. You know, there are pros and cons, and something that I think would be really helpful to regulate AI would kind of implement like the 3 laws of robotics. You know, something similar to AI. So, yeah.
Thank you.
As some of the other speakers have mentioned tonight, AI is at the end of the day a tool, and it's only really as useful or as powerful as you're able to make it. So I think it's really good that we're having these sort of conversations to make sure we can see like what it can do, what it would be able to do, and how much good it can do. So I think that at the end of the day, it's just another item. It's another Word, it's another Excel, it's another thing for us to use.
Well, thank you so much for your thoughtful answer, guys. Really proud to have you back, and everyone, please give another round of applause to Keiana, Seyed, and